Hello, hello, and welcome to the Musicians Creating Prosperity podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Fabiana Claure, and I'm excited to share with you what we will be talking about in today's episode. You see, one of the biggest barriers that stops musicians from succeeding in building their businesses is not lack of talent, is not lack of integrity, is not lack of vision. It's simply a lack of communication skills, a lack of ability to be of positive influence to their audience and to help their audience be able to enroll in their offers. It's the lack of effective sales skills. And in this episode, we're going to dive in head on in what you can do to start sharpening your sales skills so that your communication can actually do justice to your art as a musician. Let's dive in. When it comes to creating effective communication skills, the number one challenge that I've seen musicians struggle with is not understanding that sales is a skill that deserves to be pursued with the same degree of craftsmanship than music. You see, up until maybe early 2020, a lot of the work that I had done as a performer, as an educator, as an entrepreneur, relied on simply my natural communication skills, if you will, my natural ability to just cast a vision, share that, and get people rallied up. I mean, I did it ever since I was going through, my doctorate degree and getting people excited about joining my venture when my husband and I started our first academy, Superior Academy of Music. That was our first, experience needing to learn about sales and how to communicate effectively the value of what we do. Starting with the people who were supporting us as we developed the venture. We had amazing friends, we had sponsors, we had investors, we had so many people, family members that saw our journey in building our business and. We had to learn to communicate the vision and share, here's where we want to take this venture. Here's how we want this music academy to be. And little by little, we realized that when it came to getting people to support us, whether it was potential clients, whether it was backing our business, whether it was supporters, family members, investors, everything relied on our sales skills. And after we launched our first music academy, a brick and mortar music school, Superior Academy of Music, we had to learn how to communicate to clients what's the value of our business? What is the value of our program? Why is our program better than others? Once again, that idea of like, wow, we have to get good at this. We cannot simply just say things from the heart and expect people to get it. I mean, yes, we start that way. We want to hope that we say things from the heart, but ultimately, it didn't happen until early 2020, almost 10 years after I started my first business, that I recognized the importance of actually committing to being good at communication, committing to being good at sales, and trying to understand the nuances of how do people make decisions? What helps people shift their beliefs and transition from what they thought was the problem to what actually is the problem? And why is it important to not only try to learn effective communication skills to improve my ability to portray, what is it that I can do for people and how I can help them? But most importantly, sales is a process where, to a certain extent, we're building a new identity for our prospects. Just like we are creating different versions of ourselves as entrepreneurs, and what got us to a certain level won't get us to the next level. When it comes to creating an effective sales conversation, a big part of what you're going to need to understand is what is the current set of beliefs that your ideal clients have. What do they think to be the reality? What do they associate as the reason why they're not getting the success that they need? And what is it about their current identity that sees their current circumstances as a matter of fact? Perhaps they're thinking that there are no other options. Perhaps they're thinking that the path to succeed is just by watching YouTube tutorials and just self-learning themselves to becoming great musicians. I'm giving you all these examples because it really depends on your specific niche, right? But whatever that looks like for your current clients, you need to have a very deep understanding of where they are mentally and also how do they view the world. And I think this is something that oftentimes when we think about sales and improving our communication skills, we don't associate with, oh, I should go deeper into what my clients believe. I should go deeper into their own identity. No, we think I just have to be able to say this strategic way of saying things and addressing objections and this and that. And it is not that at all. I'm here to tell you that when you commit to learning sales and to being good at it, It starts with understanding the mindset of your clients, the behaviors, and the identity shifts that they're going to need to take to go from where they are right now, their current operating reality, what they see as right or wrong, as truth or false, as positive as possible or impossible, and then where do they need to be in their new identity in order to be ready to work with you, right? Chances are right now, most of your clients are thinking that they have a specific problem, but in fact, you as a subject matter expert, you know that that's not the real deal. There is a different problem that they need to address. So one of the main things you're going to want to do as you develop this ability to improve your communication skills is being able to know what is their real problem that they have. How can you communicate that effectively to give them a new awakening, a new sense of epiphany, if you will, a new feeling of, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was focusing on the wrong goal, right? And not only that, but also when you identify the true problem, how can you help your clients, your potential clients, become the next version of themselves who will be willing to tackle that problem in a new way, who will want to fix the problem through the strategies that you're proposing, ultimately through your framework, your program, your services, your products, whatever that looks like. There needs to be a shift that you need to guide your potential clients to in order for them to understand the value of what you do and to be ready to take that next steps, right? That next step. So here's the thing. In addition to understanding the evolution of their identity, the other thing you need to understand is how do you create an ecosystem around your business that informs, educates, and inspires your potential clients to go through that journey on their own without having to be directly speaking to you. You see, if you're needing to explain to potential clients in conversations about what you do and who you are way too early in the journey. And I want to encourage you to be very proactive in understanding that a successful enrollment conversation, a successful sales experience can only happen if the prospect has been led to learn about what you do and to understand how you can help them in a way that is different than what they're expecting, in a way that perhaps is new and unique, in a new opportunity, fresh approach, right? And so this is where you also need to make sure that you are building not only a great communication base and a skill set around sales, but also a great marketing and branding strategy, right? So that you can make sure that your content speaks clearly on your behalf, that you have enough information and resources available, especially if you're building an online business that can be accessed by your audience and they can quickly go through it and get a quick win and develop an awakening, a new thought, a new belief, once again, that will help them be ready to work with you as they approach these conversations, right? So looking at not only the identity shifts, but also then what is the context for that conversation, right? How can you now make sure that there's enough value around your content ecosystem, whether it's through, ebooks that you can create, downloadable workbooks, videos, podcast series, audio series. What type of content can you specifically create around your business that will allow your audience, once they come into your world, to be able to educate and learn quickly about what you do, right? And then when it comes to actually having the conversations, you want to be able to understand what is the gap that they have in their lives. You see, one of the biggest mistakes that I see musicians make when they're starting to have conversations with people is that they don't have a clear structure for the conversation. They kind of want to go at it intuitively and like, okay, tell me about you. And people go into telling them their story and there's like A to Z, what happened in their life, and they waste a whole amount of time without following the right structure. The most important thing you need to focus on when you're having these conversations is understanding the gap, meaning what is the problem that your ideal client has right now? What is the goal? Like, where do they want to be in an ideal world once they fix that problem, right? What are they looking for? And not only what do they want, but how will that change their life, right? Going 3 layers deep into the actual benefits, not only of the solution, what are the benefits of the solution, but also what are the implications of their current problem, right? So going deeper both in the beginning part of the process, in the problem, what is the problem, and then how is that problem impacting your ideal client, and then where do you want to go? Like, what is the goal, and how is that goal, if you can achieve that result, how is that going to change your life? What is it going to look like for you, and what would it mean to you ultimately, right? So when it comes to creating that gap, and it's not like you're creating it, you're materializing it, you're visualizing it, you're making it clear so that your prospect can see that they are stuck and that the only way to get into the next level is going with your program. And obviously, if it makes sense, right? You're not going to offer your program to everyone. That's, not necessary for you to think of that. But if you believe that that person has everything you need and you can help them, it's almost like you have a moral obligation to be able to communicate effectively how you can help them get there. And that's where most musicians get stuck, simply because they lack the skills that we're talking about today. So I'm hoping that you can use these initial starting points. And there's a lot more to talk about around this entire conversation. And, I'll probably do more episodes on this as well, because I love talking about communication and influence, and being a positive light and source of guidance for our clients and sales and all of that. I see it as a positive thing instead of a negative thing, because I believe the more we can reconcile our relationship with sales, the easier we'll be able to get people to say yes to us. If you have a lot of resistance towards sales and you're just like are afraid of selling and you're afraid of being sold to, then you create that like negative energy that makes it very hard for people to say yes to you in the first place, right? So that's like another trick. Like, as a foundation for everything I'm sharing in this episode, you need to check in with yourself around, how do you feel about being sold to? How do you feel about selling? Because the longer you hold on to any trauma or fears or issues around sales in general, then it'll be practically impossible for you to become that source of light and positive influence to your potential clients. So there's a lot more to talk about, but I just wanted to come in here and share these 3 tips to get you set up with the right mindset, the right frame of thought around how can you improve your sales skills as a musician. And I'm actually sharing in this episode, also under the comments in the notes, a new resource that my team and I just put together that gives you an even deeper insight into how you can become an effective communicator and how you can start thinking in the views of your clients and really putting yourself in their shoes, so that you can understand how to effectively convey what you can do to help your clients, how you can communicate to them what is that gap that they have, and what can you do specifically to bridge that gap. So the link is going to be here below. It'll be fabianaclaure.com/sales training. I'd look forward to hearing from you. I hope it serves you and it gives you even more insights into everything that I'm sharing in this episode. There's a lot to cover. But as I said, this is not going to be the last time I'm coming in and talking about this. And I'd love to hear from you. What are your takeaways from today's episode? As always, if you enjoyed this episode, do leave us a review. This allows us to reach more people and connect with musicians around the world and help them improve their businesses, their communication skills, and by that, impacting the world with their talent. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I look forward to hearing about your takeaways. Until next time, let's prosper together.